Right. Um, Bit of a crazy game tonight, Darren. Back and forth a little bit. Talk a little bit about how kind of everything went down, all the different goals, and the mindset throughout the night.
Yeah, we made a few mistakes tonight, and they punished us for them. But I'll tell you what a battle, man. I love my team. We're in extra time after an absolutely horrendous penalty kick call. We just watched it on video. I don't know what she's thinking. And these referees that make these emotional decisions is stupid. But anyway, our guys battled back, so it was fun.
Two sets of braces tonight. One from Darwin, who's going on 4 games with a goal of his own and adding 2 assists to that. And then two from Cookie. Talk a little bit about. Well,
Darwin's a special player. When you need him to do something, he gets it done. And he's been scoring goals. Both goals tonight were just gritty, and he found a way to get it done. So I'm proud of him. Darwin's a super humble guy. Doesn't really even like to talk on camera. So, we're just happy for him and get him a rest for a couple of days. And then Kirky, what a super sub. Scored his first professional goal and then backed it up with another one. So we're really happy with Josh. In this area, he played for the Richmond Kickers Youth Club because the powers that be thought he wasn't good enough for Richmond United at the time. So he's telling everybody what he thinks.
What does it take to get everybody in the mindset to score that early and that quick, and then also that late and that extra time, like you said?
Look, we have the ability to score whenever we need to. The game at Charlotte, the game at home against Madison, we just didn't quite get it in the back of the net. As the season goes on, those things get in more rhythm. Anytime you score 4 goals at home, you should win the game. So we're a little disappointed, but future's bright.
Last thing for me before I turn it over, Hayden pulled the assist, Chandler pulled the assist, and then Dak and Nils kind of all over the place in the middle tonight. Talk a little bit about them.
Hayden Anderson was a machine today, similar to Josh Kirkland against Omaha. He put pressure on their center backs in a way where it forced them to make poor decisions. And on that first goal, Hayden, who's 5'0", is playing against a guy who's 6'3" or 4", and he out jumps him and flicks the header on, and we find a goal with Darwin. So I'm really happy with our attacking guys.
Coach, this game felt like it had an array of emotions. It felt like at one point tactics wasn't even anything. It just felt like 11 guys on both sides of the field just playing the game. Is that soccer? Is that soccer at its purest form we saw out here tonight?
Well, I'll tell you what, as the game moved on, Dave saw that set pieces were where they were going to score goals. So he started bringing on the biggest guys, athletically. And every one of their big men were on the field at the end of it. So, their tactics, but we made mistakes in some of those, and we got to clean them up. But you know what? 4-4, great battle. Happy with the guys.
I know you're talking about the mistakes that happened on the field, like such as the first goal that you gave up and on the set piece there. But the mentality of it, do you feel like this is a game that maybe last year the Kickers aren't able to come back from and pull back the draw?
I would say that this group, I don't want to talk about the past. I'll say that this group has the character to get back into a game at any time. We got some young players, and they're still learning and growing, and sometimes they make mistakes. So too do veterans. But I'll tell you what, they're all willing to battle back, and they showed that.
Yeah. And just one last thing, we saw Hayden up front tonight play striker. What was the idea behind that? Just tactically, was it kind of just be able to interchange the front three, as you mentioned before?
Both center backs for them have played around the world and in USL Championship and are very good. They can make the game and defend. We needed to make sure they were under pressure. Hayden provided that pressure, helped create the first goal, and did a marvelous job for 60 minutes.
All right, Coach. Also following Westchester's penalty kick, what do you think about your team's mental resilience in those late moments of that game?
You know what? That penalty kick was absolutely unwarranted and not good enough. And our guys, instead of bitching and moaning, they went and got the ball, went right down the field, marched down, and found a goal. So I'll call it a character game.
Awesome. Thank
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Hey, Josh. Focusing on the individual performance side a little bit. First official professional goal with the Kickers, and then a second one on top of it. Talk a little bit about how tonight felt in those moments.
It was amazing. I just can't. After I scored, I kind of blacked out, but seeing everyone celebrate, clapping, screaming my name, it's like, That's what I've dreamed of ever since I joined the team. The last time I scored a goal for the Kickers was when I was on trial last season. So it feels amazing to kind of repeat those emotions and repeat that just the atmosphere, especially coming on, scoring a leading goal, take us to 3-2 pretty early in the second half. So I kind of knew there was going to be more work to do. When they scored their third, obviously I think it was a great game overall. Both sides going back and forth, and then they got that PK and a lot of emotions, just like a lot of. I mean, I can't even describe how it felt when you go from 3-2 to 4-3 in such a short amount of time. And so that last free kick, it was just kind of do or die moment. And Chandler, like he does all the time, win the ball, crossed it over. I saw it fall down to my feet, and I just swung, and it went in, and I just can't. I mean, that was amazing. That was the best feeling ever. Kind of blacked out again, but yeah, I mean, it was awesome. Just celebrating with the guys. Such an important moment too, because dropping points would have been a tough situation, especially at home. So escaping with the point when we should have won 3, but escaping with the point was definitely a good situation for us, especially being down a minute left.
Talk about what the conversation is in those different moments. Such an early goal, such a late goal. How you guys communicate with each other and keep each other locked in a little bit.
Darren came up to me at halftime, said, "Be ready. Just keep looking over at the bench. Like, just stay ready to come in. Like, we're definitely gonna put you in, but just stay ready." So I knew going in, I was gonna have to go compete, especially when the game's 2-2. Big game, a lot of good players on the field. So knew I was gonna go in. So just staying ready on the sideline, and then when you get in, that first sprint always kind of slaps you in the face. So it's good to get that out of the way. And luckily, right when I got in, James played me a ball over the back line. So I got that out of the way. And then I think Nils headed me the ball. I played Chandler. Then I scored. So after that, it's just kind of like, all right, we got 35 minutes left. We got to compete. We got to keep the ball out of the goal and just keep putting pressure on it. That's what Darren's big message was, just always put pressure on the back line because they're going to dump the ball long. So just continuing to put pressure on the team. And they scored the corner. Just unlucky. I mean, it's a good goal on them, but the PK definitely was super unlucky. So guys are obviously screaming, but I think we did a good job of staying positive, kind of all on the same wavelength of, all right, now we got to go forward. I mean, you saw 10 guys line up at the half line on kickoff. We play the ball to Simon. We get a free kick out of it, and then we score a goal. So, I mean, just a lot of emotions in 20 minutes.
Yeah, Last thing from me, 5,082 fans here tonight. What does that mean in those final moments for you guys to have 5,000 people 5, here?
5,000, wow. That's a lot of fans. I mean, I've said it before. I think everyone can agree. Richmond has the best fans because we actually have a real fan base. Fans definitely care about the players. After the game, I was getting a lot of love. So, I mean, that's just the best feeling ever, being able to perform in front of people who want you to win, who want you to succeed, and then scoring 2 goals. Yeah, it's just the best feeling ever.
Kirk, I'm going to ask you this to start off with. What goal do you feel like describes you more as a striker? The through ball, the first one, or the scrappy game goal to tie it up?
I want to say the through ball just because it was a good build-up play. I kind of snuck between the outside back and center back and got a goal out of it. So, yeah, I think that one describes me a little more, but, I mean, I'll take both. I mean, I'll score. A goal's a goal, so, yeah. Yeah.
I know you would have loved to score in front of Section O.
Oh,
but be able to score in this section over here and have your family right there.
No,
how special was that moment? Especially, like you said, to get your first professional goal since you've been through trial as 45.
Yeah. I mean, I saw the podcast, the Section O, so when I realized we were going that way in the first half, I was kind of like, dang, I'm not gonna be in Section O if I score. But yeah, it's just like a repeat moment of when I was on trial. I was on this side of the field, so just seeing all the red celebrating and going crazy. I mean, like I said, I just can't describe the feeling. I almost black out. I just I just go crazy. So it's definitely an awesome moment.
Thank you, man.
All right. Josh, man, congratulations on your first career goal and also getting the brace. Walk me through your second goal in stoppage play.
Second goal, I think it was the 98th minute. Obviously, we just gone down because of their PK. So, like I said, it was do or die moment. Everyone just ran forward. We got a good free kick about 15 yards off the right side of the 18, and Maxie hit a good ball in. Chandler went up and competed for a ball. put it perfect placing just back across, and luckily I was there, and all I was thinking in my head was just make contact with the ball, and luckily I hit it hit the goal. So just being able to save that moment in my brain forever is gonna be awesome. Especially in the first night I scored a professional goal. Yeah, it's just unbelievable.
Thanks, Josh.
Thanks, bro.
Hey, Jack, start off, talk a little bit about the game as a whole, a bit of a crazy one, bit of a battle back and forth.
Yeah,
your thoughts on
absolute
the night?
barn burner. I mean, it was one that I think I'll remember for a very long time, honestly. Like the feeling after it, making sure that we got the point back here at City Stadium, the crowd, the field. I mean, I would say everybody, like from the crowd to the staff to us, like took care of a lot of good details. Unfortunate to not get the 3 points, but yeah, I mean, what a wild ride of a night. Like absolute roller coaster of emotions. But for me, like the way we fought back, even being down a goal with whatever 30, 45 seconds left in the game. I mean, that's the type of energy this team brings. We got dogs on this team that no matter if there's still, the clock is still ticking, we're still going. So I think really great way to get a point for us tonight in front of City before we start off a little Jägermeister tour. But yeah, credit to the fans, credit to the guys on the team for not giving up as soon, like just big time performance to get a point.
Talk a little bit about captaining the side and being that voice on the pitch when you go from moments like scoring that early to taking the lead again, and then coming up big at the very last minute.
I think it's a lot of times my job, like it's easy just because of the individuals that are on this team as well. Like it's not just me that's saying, all right, let's get the ball and let's go. Like there's 3, 4, 5, 6 guys that are right there with me, helping me, that are also taking leads at points. Like I'm a big believer in like decentralizing the power, and like, yeah, my voice is the one that wears the captain's armband, but there's plenty of individuals on our team that take in the moment and they step up, and look what we just had Josh and Kirkland do, First guy up the field, sprints to get in there, and then, puts it away. Like that's the type of energy that Darren's put into the staff, making sure that all those guys, it's easy for somebody like me, like to be able to bark at them to get going because I'm not the only one that's doing it. So.
Absolutely. And you mentioned Darwin and Kirky. Talk a little bit about what the consistency from Darwin has done for y'all, and
What a
then
player,
Kirky
dog.
stepping up.
What a player, man. What a player. I've known him for about like 10, 11 years now. We went to some like crazy like preseason to get ready for preseason thing in Florida like 10 years ago. And like since then, I'm like, all right, it's going to be a day I got to play with this guy. Because the way he can finish a ball, the way he shoots, quality. And then Kirky's a dog, man. Like, I kid you not. I told him he has to do an IDP with Mika. And I told him that he should look up like Von Miller, like a bunch of DNs in the NFL, because that's the way he plays. I wouldn't want to be a center back going against that guy. That guy's a dog, man. And that was just the one that he needed to get going. It's his first 2 pro goals, and you've seen it flurry in now. So hopefully we can keep that going for him.
Last thing for me before I turn it over. 5,082 people here tonight. You touched on it a little bit, but what does that mean?
Nah, it means everything. I mean, that's why I got guys on the other team coming up to me being like, oh, you guys practice here, you guys play here. Like, I'm like, yeah. You guys can have fun with your turf lines and everything like that. But when you guys come here, you're playing on a proper pitch in front of proper fans with history. And that's what this team is made of. That's what this club is made of. That's what this city's made of. So to represent that and to have all the fans out here, 5,082 representing Richmond, representing the Kickers, it means a lot.
Talk about the up and down nature of this game, man. For you being the captain wearing the armband, like, how was it out there, like emotionally, just the up and down, all of it?
Yeah, I think we do a good job of not letting the highs get too high, the lows get too low, and that's kind of like how it felt emotionally. There was definitely jolts of anxiety and hype as well. But for me and the group, I think it was just we got 90 minutes to get a result. And that's the way we looked at it. First 45, Darren came in, said, let's continue to know how to do the things that we were doing in terms of winning our duels, continuing to get to the final third. And I think we did a good job of that going into the second half as well. I think we kept the pressure on them. Mistakes happen, these things happen. That's what we're here to do. That's why we train. We'll go back. We'll look at the little details that cost us 4 goals at City, which, nobody's happy with. Like, nobody. You go into the locker room right now and, yeah, we got good point at home against a team that, loves to be talked about or whatever. But, yeah, like I think this is a group that you're going to continue to see just a bunch of dogs putting in work, and we're going to score 4 goals, or we'll continue to score 4 goals. That's what this team is. Like Hayden getting the start up top tonight, running himself into the absolute ground, doing really well, linking up with the midfielders, laying balls off, causing chaos for those center backs. Like we got guys coming from everywhere to put Richmond, put this city, win some trophies.
The intensity of tonight, do you feel like it's making the team more mentally tougher, like getting through and battling through these moments that, like you said, next week you guys go up against a very tough Louisville City squad.
Yeah.
You feel like the team is mentally prepared to ride through those moments now?
Yeah, I think that's what we've seen throughout the first, 7, 8 games of the year right now. Like, I think going back into Charlotte is where we kind of saw like what we were made of. Like, yeah, we took a loss on the road away against the Charlotte team, but we left that game saying like, we want more. We want more than to come to these places and to, lose 1-0. And I think there was a switch that flipped there for us that really, like, there's a big belief in this group that we're right in it, and to be right in it, like, after a night like tonight, we're a few details away from being at the top of the table. Like, let's not let that slide. That's where we're at. That's what we know. That's how we feel. That we clean those little things up, and we're going to be right there at the top 2, top 4 teams.
Yeah. Last thing for me tonight, we got a bunch of young fans here tonight. How many do you think of those young fans, like this is their first core Kickers memory? And
yeah, I mean that's the way it felt. Like I said, I think I'll remember this one for a while. And there's usually games like people are like, "Oh, do you remember this moment here?" I'm like, maybe. But this one tonight, I think, will be ingrained in the head for a little bit.
All right, Jack, I know you talked about the physicality, the mental and physical ground of this game. What were some takeaways that you talked to the players after this game?
Just the little details, a couple set piece goals, like PK, which I'm not even going to touch on. I don't know if I'm going to get fined for saying that, you know what I mean? But we'll let that slide. But yeah, just little details. Like, I think we pick those things up, then we'll leave this game 4-2, 4-1. And I think that's what, we want as a team. That's what the fans want. And that's what we're just going to continue to try to strive for.
And also, Jack, my final question. Do we have somewhat of a rivalry brewing with this Westchester team potentially?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I could see that. A little quick trip down I-95. Maybe we could, throw a little, we'll see what ChatGPT could come up with a few rivalry terms. But no, I think it's a good team, man. I mean, it's an athletic team. They came in here after a long week, similar to what we went to last week with the win against Omaha and then having to travel to Naples. Like, they were at Detroit for Open Cup, then they came here. Playing in America has those problems. You're all over the country, a massive country. So I think for us, it's just continuing to stay on pace.
Thank you, bro.
Of course.